The question, I also raised the question about urban Nigeria. Most people in urban Nigeria are having issues with this government. What do you say to them?
Why do you say most? Did you conduct any kind of polls? Were you on the streets to ask people? You said most.
You made a reference to the internet the other time, and if you would go online on Twitter and any other social media platform, that's probably the kind of reaction you would get. So,
privatize the banks.
Online, I'm sorry, online polls are just 2% of the population of this country. Most of the people that vote, that have voters card, that are in the villages, they don't even have access to internet. So all those online polls, they are just 1-2% of people that are even eligible to vote. And you can see, you can even have duplications. I can open several accounts and vote for my preferred candidate. I can vote 10, 20 times if I like. So part of my career, I have a special certificate in advocacy in international affairs. So I know how to sell a product. I know how to sell a product. I'm an expert in advocacy. So I know how it works. People can bypass the system by creating lots of accounts, Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, and vote for a preferred candidate.
Are you saying in effect that those opinions,
they are just 2% of the population?
Are you saying those opinions do not matter? Are you saying that the opinions being expressed in urban parts of Nigeria do not matter as much?
Well, they are Nigerians, but I'm trying to tell you that as a politician, as a grassroots politician, I can't depend on online polls. What I want is real voters to talk about their own support for a candidate or not supporting their impulse. So why can't we go to the real voters and not concentrate on online polls? Go to the real voters, go to the villages, go to nooks and crannies of this country and hear the impulse of the people on APC, PDP, and other political parties. Right now, the rating of APC is high in this country, and I assure you will win the next election in the next few days, and most of the governors and our representatives will have a landslide victory over other political parties. I assure you this.
Let me just understand what your point. I mean, if I could quickly follow up on this one before you move on. When you say 2% of online polls, because I'm looking at some stats here, and the figures they have concerning internet users in Nigeria. As at 2014, it was 57.7 million. As at 2016, it was 69.1 million. As at 2018, 84.3 million. Is that the 2% you say it doesn't matter?
Chamberlain, how are you sure the total number of people that use internet in this country are the ones that actually do the polls? How are you sure about that?
I just need to clarify your position that internet users don't matter.
Vote for a preferred candidate.
No, I want to clarify. Are you saying that is that the 2% of which you say, look, internet penetration users don't matter whatsoever?
No. Online polls are good, but in a country like Nigeria, you don't use online polls to say, okay, this is the impulse of Nigerians. If you go abroad, a lot of people go online, they have access to internet, they can do online polls, you can depend on that. But in this country, using online polls to test the popularity of a candidate, I think you're not doing justice to yourself. As I'm talking as a real grassroots politician.
Mr. Chisokon, you have made reference to, the Williams Associates, and you've talked about their pedigree. But can we really put a lot of weight? I mean, can we really, place our weight on this polls, considering what happened, for instance, during the Trump and Clinton campaign and elections that in the U.S. that just happened? Can we really say that the polls can really say which candidate will win?
Well, they have degrees of probability. And the instance you cited about the U.S., the poll was not totally off. Hillary Clinton scored upwards of 3 million votes, more than Trump. In the
but the Electoral College had the day.
Well, so we were not in the polls that they made. I don't know, they didn't do it state by state. because of the election that it wasn't done. It wasn't done state by state, but the electoral college system in the U.S. is based on state by state touting. So, but they call their own the national polls, you know. But to the extent that this is the exception rather than the rule, they have mostly got the polls and mostly gotten it right, you know, before now. But remember earlier on, I'm very skeptical about talking for polls. At the end of the day, look, I can't sit here, you know, giving judgment on the validity or the quality of research that those who conducted polls, but my friend here thinks he can. I don't know why anybody conducting the opinion poll in Nigeria will not find the need to have gone to the grassroots or the villages where the majority of voters reside. So, but this is the kind of assumption that I don't see any polling organization worth its salt, you know, that will not have factored that into consideration. But because it does not favor you, it's okay for him to discredit it. But earlier on, look, the reason I don't want, I mean, I was a bit hesitant about talking about what you do or not do is that you asked a question about security. I clearly enunciated what it, and of course, the man who was asking the question said he was not satisfied. I don't know what this is, he expects me to say. Professionalization of the armed forces, I mentioned it, and I said, of course, that everybody, anybody who knows anything about most of these crises knows that they are rooted in unemployment, that people don't have anything to do.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Chutokun, because we're really out of time. He was asking the question about why anybody should vote for the PDP. That's that was the concrete question he was asking. He wanted you to answer that with concrete.
Well, I said so.
But I'm sorry, we really have to go now. We really have to. More time. I'm sorry, perhaps at another time. At another time we will go now. You know, I have to thank you, gentlemen, for coming on.
The president was talking about
Ibrahim Bala Hassan is of the APC and a member of the House of Assembly of the Bauchi State House of Assembly, and Mr. Akin Oshintokun is a spokesperson for the PDP presidential campaign organization. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on Sunrise Daily. The program continues in a moment. Please stay with us.